Welcome to this explainer. Okay, I want you to literally picture this right now. You are sitting in the exam hall. The clock is relentlessly ticking down. You can literally feel the tension in the room. You flip the page of your Cambridge Information Technology 9626 paper, and boom, there it is. A massive, high-mark scenario question focused entirely on Section 8.1 using input and error messages. Now you might be thinking, hey, I know what an error message is. I know my validation from my verification. But here is the high-stakes reality we need to establish right off the bat. The difference between a B and an A star in these exams almost always comes down to how well you understand and apply the principles of this exact topic under intense deadline pressure. It's really not just about what you know. It's about breaking down the story in the question and delivering the precise headline the examiner is waiting for. So let's dive into this, because today we are going to completely decode the examiner's secret blueprint.
Here is a quick look at the roadmap we'll be following today. First, we'll cover the A-star difference. Second, mastering core principles. Third, the technical methodology. Fourth, critical analysis strategies. And finally, number 5, examiner warnings. Let's jump right in.
Section 1. The A-star difference. Let's see what really separates the top scorers.
I want you to listen to this direct quote straight from a principal examiner. The difference between a B and an A star often comes down to how well you understand 8.1 using input and error messages. You might be wondering, why this specific topic? Well, it's because input and error messages sit right at that crucial intersection of technical knowledge and human-computer interaction. The syllabus specifically emphasizes the top candidates, the ones grabbing that A star, exhibit connected, conceptual understanding that is completely transferable to unfamiliar contexts. They don't just memorize that a range check exists. They know exactly why a specific range check and a highly specific, user-friendly error message is the absolute best choice for, say, a stressed-out nurse entering patient data at 2 a.m. It is all about the context, guys.
To really set up the challenge here, let's contrast two deeply flawed approaches that perfectly smart students fall into under crushing deadline pressure. On the left, we have student Alex. Alex sees a question about input methods and writes this massive, textbook-perfect paragraph defining every type of validation check known to computer science. It's just raw facts, zero analysis. And guess what? The examiner's red pen strikes right through it, because Alex didn't answer the specific scenario question. Now on the right, we've got student Sam. Sam feels the pressure, rushes the reading, and completely misses the command words. The question clearly said, evaluate, but Sam just briefly described a pop-up error message and moved on. Both of these generic answers lose massive marks because, in Cambridge exams, context is king. If you strip away the scenario, your answer is worth absolutely nothing.
Section 2. Mastering core principles. Before we continue, subscribe to our YouTube channel, Ace the Exams, at acetheexams_IGCSE to excel in your Cambridge examinations. Click that subscribe button and hit the bell icon right now.
To totally rewire how you approach these questions, we need to move towards systematic analysis and evidence-based reasoning. So why do we all find multi-stage analysis and method marks so incredibly hard? Honestly, it's because we've been conditioned to just hunt for the right answer. But in complex IT scenarios, examiners actually use the method mark strategy. They award marks for your logical process, not just your final conclusion. If you jump right to the end and say, use a drop-down menu, you get exactly 1 mark. But if you explain the logical journey, the data constraints, the user's needs, the risk of data entry errors, and exactly how the drop-down mitigates those risks, you unlock all those juicy multi-stage method marks. You literally have to show your work.
Okay, so how do you structure that logic under pressure? Enter the PEEL framework. Point, evidence, explanation, link. This is your ultimate weapon for securing analytical depth and breaking down those tricky command words. When you're asked to evaluate an error message, don't just dump a paragraph onto the page. You need to build a PEEL structure. Point, state your core argument, like the error message lacks clarity. Evidence, quote the specific error code, say error 404, directly from the scenario. Explanation, explain why this is bad. Novice users won't understand technical jargon and will just get frustrated. Link, connect it back to the big picture. This leads to decreased productivity in the factory system. Point, evidence, explanation, link. This structured reasoning guarantees you pick up those elusive method marks every single time.
All right, moving on to Section 3, the technical methodology. This is where the magic happens.
This is where we take the theory and actually apply it to the exam paper. When you sit down, pen in hand, you cannot just start writing.
You absolutely need a procedural framework to interpret the data, extract the right details, and draw evidence-based conclusions. Step 1. Deconstruct the question. Highlight the command word. Is it describe, explain, or evaluate? Step 2. Extract data. Pull the exact constraints out of the text. Who is the user? What's the environment? Step 3. Select framework. This is where you bring in your Peel structure. Step 4. Execute with clear notation. If you're writing out a validation rule, use the proper logical operators. And Step 5. Present with correct terminology. Please, do not call a graphical user interface a screen with pictures. Call it a GUI. Following these 5 steps transforms your answer from a messy, panicked draft into a highly structured, top-tier response.
Building right on top of that, strict presentation conventions are absolutely required for top marks. In the Cambridge 9626 syllabus, practical application develops professional skills. The examiners are literally treating you like a professional IT consultant. This means you must apply correct formats, use proper headings to organize your multi-stage answers. Like we just said, correct terminology is non-negotiable. And finally, clear annotation. If you are asked to design an input screen, you can't just draw a bunch of naked boxes on the page. You must clearly annotate what each box is, what validation is applied to it, and exactly what the corresponding error message would say if that validation fails. If you ignore these conventions, you are basically throwing easy marks out the window.
Stop scrolling. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Ace the Exams, at acetheexams_IGCSE to excel in your Cambridge examinations. We've helped thousands of students improve by 2 to 3 grade boundaries. Join them right now by subscribing to @acetheexams_IGCSE and turn on all notifications so you never miss our weekly exam strategy sessions.
Section 4. Critical Analysis Strategies. Let's get into some high-level evaluative thinking.
Okay, it's time for a quick mental challenge. I want you to picture a 60-second visual countdown timer running in your head right now. Imagine trying to extract a core trend from a super complex chart about user error rates. When a command word asks you to compare or evaluate 2 different input methods based on that data, top-scoring evaluative thinking requires identifying both similarities and differences. You'd be amazed how many students only do one or the other. You have to use comparative connectives. Words like whereas, conversely, similarly, and however are your new best friends. You state a similarity, support it with evidence from the scenario, and then you pivot. You state a difference, support it with evidence, and finally, you draw an evidence-based conclusion about their relative importance. It is a balancing act, but it proves to the examiner that you can think critically under pressure.
To make that critical analysis totally systematic, use this 3-step problem-solving framework. Deconstruct, solve, evaluate. First, deconstruct. Identify the given information and break the whole problem into logical steps. What's the input? What's the potential error? Second, solve systematically. Choose the best validation method or error message format for the job. Third, and honestly most importantly, evaluate. This is where you push yourself to question assumptions. Check your solution for reasonableness. Make justified recommendations. Think about it. If you recommend an audio error message, evaluate the environment. Is it a noisy factory floor? If so, an audio alert is completely useless. Questioning the assumption based on the specific context is exactly what secures that A star.
Section 5. Examiner Warnings. Let's look at the absolute biggest pitfalls.
We have dug deep into the actual Cambridge Principal Examiner reports to reveal the top mistakes students make year after year on Section 8.1. Learning what to do is only half the battle. Knowing what not to do is what protects your marks when you are stressed out and rushing. Let's drill down on these 3. Number 1. Wrong approach for context. This is the classic trap, using a highly technical, jargon-filled error message for a system designed for elderly users with zero IT experience. Number 2. Forgetting format and presentation checks. You design an amazing input screen, but completely forget to label the data types or specify the field lengths. Poof, you lose the presentation marks. And number 3, answers not specific to the context given. This means writing a beautiful, generalized essay about GUIs without mentioning the actual scenario provided in the prompt. You must always check your reasoning against the scenario.
I want you to listen to this definitive examiner alert. The classic mistake is providing generic answers not specific to the question context. Always link every point to the given scenario. Hear me clearly on this. A generic answer is a dead answer. Let me give you the paste test. If you can take your paragraph, paste it into a completely different exam question, and it still makes sense, you have failed to apply context, and you are going to score 0 marks for that section. You must ruthlessly tether every single point, evidence, explanation, and link directly to the characters, the business, or the system described in the paper. Anchor this core takeaway in your mind right now.
Let's recap the ultimate 3-rule Cambridge answering system that we've built today. This is your ultimate cheat sheet, and if practiced consistently, it basically guarantees top marks. Rule 1, command word decoding. Always stop and deconstruct what the examiner is actually asking for before you write a single word. Rule 2, peel framework application. Never write a messy, unstructured paragraph again. Structure every analytical answer with point, evidence, explanation, and link to secure those multi-stage method marks. Rule 3, time management matrix. Under deadline pressure, allocate your time strictly based on the marks available, leaving yourself enough time to do the crucial evaluate step at the very end. This system takes you from 0% mark potential straight to 100%.
Students who implement these computer science strategies see an average improvement of 2 grade boundaries, but only if they practice consistently with our weekly videos.
Here's your final reminder. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Ace the Exams, @AceTheExams IGCS, to excel in your Cambridge examinations. Subscribe right now to @AceTheExams IGCS and click that bell. Don't let another exam pass you by. Drop a comment below with your target grade for computer science and the biggest challenge you're facing. Our team responds to every comment. Like and share this video with a study partner. Ace the Exams. Your Cambridge success starts here. So the final question for you to ponder is this. Now that you have the examiner's exact blueprint, are you going to let the exam format conquer you, or are you going to step into that room and conquer the exam?